It's a good afternoon, warm welcome to Brighton Oval for this Division 1 Adelaide Football League clash. Round 4 footy between the Brighton Bombers and the Broadview Tigers. Jack Moore alongside Jad Gosson this afternoon, and we are brought to you by Archie's Footwear, Dartfish, Sports Interactive and the Sportal Scoreboard. We'll get to our buddy bet in a second, gamble responsibly, but it's a beautiful day down here at Brighton by the coast on the beach. This game promises to be one of many spectacles and hopefully answering a few questions we might have about season 2023. These two teams sit at 5th and 8th on the table. Brighton with one more win over their rivals this afternoon in the Broadview Tigers, but Broadview welcomes Xavier Gotch back to their lineup for the first time in season 2023. As I welcome Jad Gosson into our coverage. Jad, this game has a lot on offer.
Yeah, a lot on offer. Two teams that really got to win this season, trying to get more on the scoreboard early in this season for 2023.
Indeed they do. And my buddy bet of the afternoon, of course, sponsors thanks to Buddy Bet, gamble responsibly. I believe this game will be under 12.5 point margin every break, so I'm hoping for a close match. What do you think will be on your Buddy Bet menu this afternoon, Jad?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Wellesby, 5 goals. He got 9 goals already this season with 4 last week, so I'm going to put him down for 5. Beautiful weather, so he'll be taking plenty of marks in the forward line, I'm sure.
And you were watching, of course, the reserve match. It was a close one up until the end of the fourth quarter. Scores from that one?
So it was 50-77 going Broadview's way in the end.
So a solid win for Broadview in the reserves. They'll be looking to repeat the dose in this senior matchup. As we see the umpires and teams shaking hands, it is, of course, community umpiring round. I spoke with the umpires, Dennis Sester and Rob Kane. The field umpires, Sam Scarman and Wayne Scarman on the boundary, and Chris May and James Turner between the uprights this afternoon. And they were letting me know that Colin Rouston did speak to our very own Tony Neal, and you can see that interview on the Adelaide Football League Facebook page. Also spoke with senior umpire Tony Simons, and they had AFL umpire representation at training during the week as well. So it's great to see the two teams join in umpire community round. What are some things you're looking for in this enticing and exciting clash, Jad?
Yeah, so for me, I think the attack will be key to this game. Both teams know how to score and have plenty of goal kickers on their list, so whoever can kick the goals and try their best to get as many goals as they can this afternoon, I think will go a long way. Beautiful weather for footy, no excuses today. I'm sure there'll be a very, very good clash coming up soon.
Yeah, the ground looks in firm condition and there doesn't really look to be many soft spots, so as you said, Jad, no excuses except between the years. It's a mental game footy at times, but the physical nature of it can be determined between minute 1 and minute 26 of the first quarter. So both teams look to come out firing, especially Broadview, who, if you didn't know, upset reigning premiers Port District 2 weeks ago, but then fell by 45 to Prince Alfred Old Collegians. They led actually at quarter time of that match, had 1 goal then for the rest of the match and added a second late in the fourth quarter to lose by 45. Meanwhile, you were there last week, Jad, when the Brighton Bombers had a fantastic away win by 2 points at Goodwood. Yeah,
it was a very tough physical game, that one. Only 2 points, and it was away at home at Goodwood, who are a very good club, and their midfield really dominated near the end. By Ruckman for Goodwood dominating, they were able to use the ball off his hands and find plenty of possession, kick the ball forward. Otis Carthy with 28 possessions, 6 clearances, 6 tackles, so he was the man of the match for that game, and he was the captain too, so I'm sure they're looking for a similar performance from him today at home in front of a very nice healthy crowd building today, Saturday afternoon footy.
It's a lovely crowd. Thanks for joining us on Filming Footy, live streaming every one match, of course, on the YouTube page. Of course, once again, thanks to our sponsors, Sports Interactive, Dartfish and the Sportal Scoreboard will keep you updated with the scores all afternoon. Top left of your screen. Last week for Broadview, it was O'Leary, the captain, 29 disposals in a 45-point loss. So he's one to watch. And also named in the best players, Dominic Pratico as well. And he had 6 tackles. A story of two halves this season so far for Broadview, really. As I said, they won against the reigning premier in round 1. And then lost to Shock and lost to Prince Alfred. But this game is underway. It's round 4 footy. Both teams evenly matched. And out of the middle we go. Kick goes inside forward 50. It's a great contest in the air. One at ground level. Broadview bring it away. Their handball game strong, as always. Jackson Wilson, half-back flank. Kick comes long and down from Daniele. Intercept mark there by Osborne.
Osborne, yeah, in defence. Spearman defence. Read the play well. Good intercept mark. Into the 50 now. Punched away into the middle and finds their teammate who bombs up forward in the 50.
Great kick coming down there at the back of the pack by Wren. Bit of holding going on. Umpire Sesta comes in and awards the free kick. It'll be an early shot at goal for Kobe Russell. He can look up and test the wind conditions early, Jad.
Yeah, Kobe Russell actually in the votes on Between the Post show last week. So even in a 45 loss, he got a point in that Roll the Dice Player of the Year.
Russell with the footy. What a great start it would be for the away team to get on the board first, and they're not going to do that. It's floating across the face of goal. But it will be a mark taken down there. Beautiful hands above 2 of his Brighton opponents. And this in footy, Judd, these days is pretty regulation from there.
Yeah, they always practice this in training, I hear. So he will be probably looking to play on here with the metres that he gets.
No pressure. Snap missing to the near side. Great play from the Brighton players on the mark there to rush in after the umpire called play on that occasion, and Broadview are on the board first.
Yeah, so good attacking play there to get the ball forward and found a few marks in the 50, which they'll need to cut out if they want to try and stop them scoring.
Home team bring it away, kick down towards an uncontested mark, drop there. Wants to do better next time, Flanagan. Threw it out, it's not rugby league, as the ball goes forward on the lead, beautifully marked. Hands out in front, that man again, Kobe Russell.
Russell, 33 goals last season, so he knows how to get a goal. The last kick, he would probably want his time again with that kick, but had a practice shot, let's see how he does now.
Russell rising, 2 hands to the footy, presenting nicely and took the mark out in front. Left the opponent no chance with a nice little smart sprint as Kobe comes in. They're allergic to the goals early. It's taken away off hands down there, a chance for a crumbing goal, but the small forward wasn't ready. Got to be switched on early stages. Wilson again, busy. Great tackle, brought down by the captain in Carthy.
Yeah, Carthy again with another, being in the contested ball, he loves that. Always down and dirty, always on his knees, helping his teammates get the ball forward.
He's a real bull. Had him in our best 3 when I was here a couple of weeks ago with the match-up between them and Sacred Heart on that occasion. Brighton did well to come away with victory. I was talking to their coach on that occasion, Brent Backwell, and he wasn't impressed with that match, even though they did come away with a 25-point win. So I wonder what it might take for the coach to be happy with the result, even though they did win on that occasion, Jad, as Broadview bring it down to the outer wing.
Yeah, onto the wing now, punched by the defending player, and they keep it in with a few handballs. Osborne kicks it inbound into the 50 in the middle square and marks. So found a loose player in the middle and was able to find an uncontested mark to try and move his team forward.
McDonald surveying the options, decides the handball is smart, plenty. Didn't have that much time. And the ground ball is won, but no options ahead. Lowers the eyes and handballs back. Buys themselves a bit of time and space, but it's turned over straight away and McGarry comes back with it. Outer side is Illingworth, best on ground in round 2. Sharp kick to Draper. In the pocket, he'll line up on a tight angle from 40 out.
Draper last week, the ruckman on that occasion, competed very well in the ruck to try and get their team forward, but drifts forward as well, as we've seen on this occasion, and having a shot, tight angle.
Sharp hands from Draper. Will take his best effort from here. Not a breath of wind as the trees relax and Draper comes in, tries to do the same, and the umpire bangs the chest. He's got some work. His work has commenced for the day and awards the behind. So one behind each on our Sportal scoreboard. It's a beautiful day. We're here, of course, thanks to Sports Interactive and filming footy this afternoon. Any things you'd like to see Broadview do differently to last week, Jad? Of course, you were there watching them play on that occasion. Of course, it was Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton. I watched. Last week they were good around the ground. They didn't take all their chances, especially early, but they found a way to get the goals. So if they just clean up around the field, I think, and their disposal efficiency will go a long way to helping them get a victory here today.
Short, sharp kicks, and they're playing the possession game, but now the kick comes down the line, long, big pack of players. Ball comes to the ground and the tacklers come in. Was noticing that both these sides love to tackle, but Brighton through 3 games have 54 more tackles to their name, 187 to 123. They've actually had 112 inside 50s to Broadview 69. Big hit coming out. He bounces back up. Good footy acumen towards the goal square. Bit of a wrestle, one-handed mark. If you don't mind.
Bit of a 1-on-3 there in the goal square, and he did well to find room and use his body to find that position, and should slot this one from point blank, and he does. So that's the first goal on the board today for Broadview.
Pratico. They say practice makes perfect. Well, perhaps Pratico makes perfect. He kicks the first, and they're away, the Tigers. Great start for them today, Joe.
Yeah, their ball movement there was good. Even though kicking to a 1-on-3 maybe is not advisable, but on that occasion worked out with them. For them, yeah, as I said, used his body well to find that half metre of space, and the one-hand grab is always good to see out here in local footy.
Yeah, he backed himself in, and he was in a wrestle. Umpire let it go. Smart umpiring. Some players of note to watch. We've seen Tara Killingworth a couple of times already, ex-South Adelaide. Blake McDonald playing for Brighton, ex-Mildura in the Sunraysia League. Jared Miller, ex-Eagles reserves. And on the Broadview side of things, Xavier Gotch, South Adelaide player from 2011 to 2019, along with Nick Little, who was also at South during that time. Helped them win their way up to Division 1 footy for season 2023 as it's hot on the kitchen. Just missed his head there, and the umpire yells play on. Smart umpiring, didn't make contact with the head. Going down towards forward 50 again. They've started like a spark. Winning it out the hyphen down there. Cheeseman Dutton goes across his goal and finds Bastion.
Yeah, so good defending on that occasion, because they've let in 3 shots already, but found a way to get it out. They should get it out here with a few people running, trying to find him options. Goes wide all the way to Seagal. Seagal lets it bounce and pushes it forward, long down the wing, but missed it straight to the spare man for Broadview on that occasion, and quickly played it forward.
He's the ruckman Anyang. He's been good, he's been decent in the first few matches of this season. Up along the wing, presenting nicely. Pratico, he's getting hot. And he picks off something in the middle. The centre corridor is there to be used, uses it beautifully and finds a man. Once again, Jad Gosson, Broadview on the lead. It's hot in the kitchen, but they are finding the leading lanes. There's plenty of space inside 50 as Brighton's defensive 6 unorganised early.
Yeah, like you said, I think just the smart ball movement and finding their accurate targets allows them that chance to get the shot at goal now.
Really strong mark on the lead. This for 2. The kick not his finest, and the left-hand goalpost gets an early kiss on the cheek. So 1 goal 2 for Broadview as they move to 8 on the Sportal scoreboard, and yet to register a major Brighton here at home. Long kick out to the wing where Osborne is waiting. Born to do it, Nigel Osborne. He was one of the best a couple of weeks ago and regularly best on ground, but just spilling across the boundary line out there. It's a family affair on the boundary in community umpiring round, with Sam and Wayne Scarman doing the duties this afternoon. So shout out to all the umpiring team and all the umpires who keep our great game in great condition. Early in this game, 9.5 minutes played. If you're going to wear the pink boots, you better get the hit out. McKinnon Collins does well on that occasion, but leaves the ball behind, going after it nicely. At ground level, both teams fighting for possession, but neither one can win it on that occasion.
A bit going on off the ball here in the forward line. They're trying to find some space in case the quick kick comes. Bit of a rubbing each other, but nothing too untoward in that situation.
Looks like McDonald's just gone down, and it looks like he's in pain and not moving on the far side boundary. We'll keep you updated. Meanwhile, kick goes towards Broadbent. Didn't go the 15. Umpire Rob Kane comes in as the trainer attends now to Blake McDonald. It's just behind the play. So umpire Kane right to get the game moving on once again. And gee, it's a 4th or 5th inside 50, and the leading man is there. The option is strong. Blake Higgins, and one thing they're doing early, Judd, is they're trusting their gut and relying on where they think their teammate will be, and more times than not, it's working so far for Broadview.
Yeah, that's it. Like you said, they're trusting their forward line, and the midfield is winning it first to give the best options for them to have a kick at goal. They've already 1-2-8 this quarter, so having plenty of hits at the goal scoring range.
This is Kale Wren. Rocks, rattles and rolls. Does Wren might just fall short. Over it goes! Gee, Broadview throwing a real wrench in Brighton's plans this afternoon. Kale Wren on the board with his first.
Yeah, and what I've liked is they've had multiple people having shots at goal already. So this season they've had 10 different goal scorers, so sharing the load, and so far that's happened. Different goal kickers that occasion, and also different people in the forward line making moves and finding room to have a shot at goal in that occasion as well. So
you've seen Gotch early as well, just creating a bit of difference in that midfield, and just really creating a bit of space, pushing off. There's the man we talk about. Can't take possession as Brighton win it back. Gotch goes hunting. Geez, like a rabbit today. Look at him picking it up, getting it on the boot early and arriving late to the contest. Spills to Osborne, playing on ball. Quick handball to the captain, Carthy. He's smothered, kicked it straight into the bread basket of Broadview as they go forward again. It's an inside 50 barrage in this early stage of quarter one. One of the back, strong tackle. We had too much time on that occasion as Kale Wren, he was hungry for a second, wasn't he, Judd?
Yeah, massive tackle there, and good work to get the ball out of their defence using the tackle in that situation to get it out.
We see Draper re-enter the frame for Brighton in front of us here on the bench. We're commentary side at the Brighton Sports and Community Centre. If you've got a spare afternoon, come on down and join us. Entry is free, of course, in the Adelaide Football League, and enjoy a fantastic game of Division 1 footy. The clouds are hovering, but the sunshine's coming through. Quick kick inside forward 50. They're loose everywhere. That one came in from Fergus, and that kick was Fergalicious, Judd.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with that one. big Ang Yang was free as well in that situation. So
there he is.
Free.
Speaking of Fergalicious.
So yeah, did well to follow up his own work and get into the box. Straight into the kick here for his teammate. They always have a few players free or making runs in the forward line, and so far it's been very handy for them and to get on the scoreboard and put scoreboard pressure on early.
Straight in front, Jack Fergus for 3 unanswered goals for the Broadview Tigers. Wynn does catch that, fell short. Crummers arriving, just not getting there in time and spilled through. Gee, I was going to bring out that word for the 3rd time, but I might save it till later if Fergus can convert truly then. But not as hot on that occasion from Fergus. Brighton bring it back in now. They've been shocked early. They've been rock and rolled. Need to get their heads back in the game. Coach Brent Backwell looks on with pursed lips as Broadview win it again. They're biting off that short kick and they're using the centre corridor. Oh, Pink Boots does it well. Here's Fergus. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? That is Fergalicious. That is hot from Jack Fergus and Broadview. Well, they're hot.
Yeah, they did well to lock the opposition in the forward 50. We see that a lot in AFL level even. So the way they were able to set up behind the ball, get a repeat entries, and in that occasion find the goal. So big scoreboard pressure here early at Brighton Oval. So 3-3-21 to the away team. Plays 0-1-1 so far on this Saturday afternoon footy. Beautiful weather here, Brighton Oval.
That's on the Sportal scoreboard, of course, and well, the Bombers shouldn't be shocked. This is the team that knocked off the reigning premiers in round 2 after just being promoted from Division 2 last year, the Broadview Tigers. Yes, they've lost a couple of games by healthy margins, but lost those games to Prince Alfred and Sacred Heart, who many would say would be grand final favourites at this early stage.
Yeah, always when you go up against those two, you can't always take that for granted, and then seems like they're on today early. Oh, and there he is again.
Oh, Fergus.
Your boy.
My boy. I've definitely owned him early. He is one I'm going to watch for those Archie Stongs. Of course, player of the day, Archie Stongs, and a Dartfish beanie. Gee, he brought the shoulder up there, and umpire Kane gave him the benefit of the doubt. Fergus is hot. Inside 50 he goes. And the ball is living inside forward 50. That one untouched. So he said that new rule this year in Adelaide Footy League, the last possession where it's off a handball or a kick, it's a turnover. What's your thoughts on that possession rule this season?
Yeah, I think it's good. It reduces the stoppages, of course, and forces the play to stay inside the field, and that's what we like to see, good attacking footy.
Strong hand in front, McKinnon Collins. A couple of hyphens out there this afternoon. O'Loughlin Johncock, of course, a fantastic play for Brighton. Through on goal again. And he's taken afterwards with a height, contact, free kick. The umpire will ask the question, would you like the behind or would you like a kick again, sir? And I think I know what option he's going to take here.
Yeah, of course, you take the kick again. Just seeing here, he's holding his head a little bit, so hopefully he's okay to take the kick, but about 40 metres out, not much of an angle. He would love to have a kick again in that occasion, I'm sure.
It's Cooper O'Leary. He'd be thanking his lucky stars when he rocked up that the wind wasn't too harsh. He's not the biggest lad, but it's all about the talent and it's all about the application. For 4 goals in a row, O'Leary. Oh, goodness! The Tigers are roaring at Brighton and, well, the Bombers simply have not left the change rooms.
Yeah, that's it. Even on that occasion, I had a few players forward that was spare, so you could have passed it off there. Their attack has been on fire very early today. Lots of options there for them to pass to create opportunities. Looks like they're having a second free kick here. So after the goal, they get another shot at goal. So this could be a double whammy blow here for Brighton. And he slots it. So
back-to-back goals in the space of what I say about 0 seconds, Chad, because no time, of course, would have come off the clock. And gee, it's a double whammy, and that just rubs salt to the wounds. If this was basketball, if we're in the NBA playoffs, he'd be calling a timeout, Brent Backwell.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that second free kick was for, but that's what happens sometimes. You've got to be disciplined off the ball, especially when you're conceding this many goals early. You can't let them have those free ones. On that occasion they did. So 5-3, now 33 plays one score. So one behind, and that's all for Brighton so far.
The crowd is stunned. Speaking of NBA, that last goal kicker, Kobe Russell, won't go as far as to call him the White Mamba, but he has the right name for it. And 5 individual goal kickers. So Pratico, Wren, O'Leary and Russell on the score sheet in this opening term. And if you're sitting at home thinking, gee, the wind must be strong towards the right hand of screen, well, you're incorrect. The wind is non-existent. And yet, Broadview, well, they're making a statement here, Jack.
Yeah, that's it. They've been winning the midfield, clearing it, getting all the possession in the forward half, everything we want to see from a very attacking, strong team this afternoon.
I don't remember the last time a Broadview possession either didn't hit a target or went to the grounds. Back in the middle once again, first of the footy is that man. That's Danny Alley on that occasion, or I think it might have been O'Leary. Doesn't matter, it comes out. And the tackle was laid. Gee, we're only 18 and a half or 19 minutes into this first quarter, still probably about 5 or 6. This could be a blowout. It could be real danger for Brighton in these next 5 minutes. They got to fix things on the fly right now. No benefit of a timeout, no benefit of a coach's huddle. They're in real trouble and need to fix things at the source because Broadview have won almost every clearance.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And as you can see, Ben Manning is spare, like about 20 metres off his opponent. So if they did have to clear it out from their defence, he could easily mark it and rebound it in the 50.
101 behind the ball. Here comes yet another clearance and yet another goal. It's Tiger time. 6 in a row. The Tigers stunned the Cats in the AFL last night, and the Tigers have grounded the Bombers this afternoon. Judd Gosson.
Yeah, that's it. And that was Danielle, one of the incomings for this week, scoring that one. The way he burst from the pack, Chris Judd-like, and kicked it from about 50 on the run, sums up, I think, the first quarter for this game. They've been dominating all over the field, and every opportunity they've had, they've kicked it forward and found lots of scoreboard pressure early. Back
in the middle we go, and Yang gets his hand to it, and I'm just a bit disappointed, Jad, because my buddy bet of every break being under 2 goals, I think that's sunk early, so I get to focus on yours for the rest of this afternoon. Broadview, they're first to everything in a intercept mark inside forward 50. The only way they're going forward right now, Brighton, is thanks to the umpires. That one kick out of the middle, and yet they couldn't hold on to possession. And they're about 3 metres off their man every opportunity they get. If you've just tuned in here on Filming Footy, you'd be forgiven for thinking it was the fourth quarter and the weather's about 45 degrees, because Brighton looks slow as a snail, Jack.
Yeah, that's right. And what I like in that contest in defence, even though they've been attacking most of the game, they're still being disciplined in defence and finding their opponents. As they kick forward here for Brighton, one-on-one Wellesby, who flies and marks. So my buddy bet for this week, gamble responsibly, was Wellesby to kick 5. So he's got a big mark here in the forward line, kicked 4 last week. He's been very accurate kicking when I watched him last week away from home. So no wind here today. I can see him going back and slotting this one, but I don't want to do the commentator's curse.
Finally, some attack on the ball from Jack Chalmers coming out of the midfield, setting up this inside 50. Left his man, attacked the footy, found Wellesby. As I just see Otis Carthy come to the bench in front of me. He's sitting there, a man despondent at the moment, shaking his head. I'm not sure he's got many answers right now. I'm not sure Brighton have many answers right now either, as that just falls away. Pretty regulation shot from there if they train that most nights. The amount of uncontested marks and the possession, play on, the clearances, they're winning every stat so far. Great spoil coming in from Dane McGarry. He's one that's not dropped his head. At the back it comes to Cheeseman Dutton. That's a kick up and under, bit of a hopeful ball. Draper tries knocking it forward. It's only being knocked as far as Broadview as the Tigers come again on the outer side. They're running in waves. The overlap run is impressive. And Yang, beautiful. Shepherd showing they're not all about winning possession, they're also about those 1%ers. On the outer side, once again now it comes, and they're going forward and playing in front. Gee, Brighton have got to fix this. They've been behind their opponent every single occasion. And coming out again, holding one back is O'Leary. Kick comes on the cusp of 50. Both hands, playing in front, mark taken. Playing on now. See something you liked, not 15, wrong option. But the play on call was quick. Summed it up, Ralph. He was taken. Fergus, that was smart. He's taken down in a strong tackle, that's high. And if umpire Kane wasn't going to pay it, umpire Sester was ready with the whistle.
Yeah, they, like you said, running in waves has been impressive, and they had a few players on the outside free, even ready for a switch needed. So they've got all the options available for them when they move the ball forward. And running on top of the ground, it seems early, not a bit late in this first quarter now, and they're still not slowing down. So their fitness is impressive, and he thought about passing it off or handballing it to one of his teammates, but he looks like he's going to go back and try and kick it himself.
Oh, smart option.
There you go.
Gee, you ran into the Bermuda Triangle there. There was about 4 or 5 Brighton Bombers defenders just looking at each other. They'd all summed it up and agreed amongst themselves he was going to go back and back himself from 50, but instead the kick found one of their direct opponents, and this is for 7 unanswered goals in this opening quarter. This game could be out of sight. They're allergic to missing. O'Leary, oh my goodness. Cooper O'Leary.
Yeah, that's his second for the match, but they've had very good, like we said, people running and creating space, leading up to the play. Even on that occasion, looks like he was having a shot for about 20 seconds there, and even with all that, usually people stand and just watch the ball go over their heads, but in that occasion, still trying to find room and found an easier shot, which they end up converting. Incredible opening quarter. Not sure anyone saw this coming. The margin is 37 points, 6-3-39. 2 behind on the Sportal scoreboard. As Cooper O'Leary in that last goal has said, "Catch me if you can." And the Bombers look unable to break out of more than a simple walk at the minute. They've been beaten to every contest, beaten to every ball. And I dare say we might hear, we're in a fantastic position here on the balcony, but I think even we might hear Brent Backwell's comments at quarter time. He might have a spray saved up here, Jay. He's going to let him know what he thinks, I reckon. Yeah, you might hear it on the microphone as well. Some extra content for you guys, but yeah, he won't be happy, I reckon, with the start, especially knowing the quality they can play and they have showed in the last few rounds. Trying to sell the free kick there, Fergus. Didn't quite get away with it on that occasion. He's been busy, had a great quarter. And the Bombers just look to switch into possession mode for the last few moments of this opening term. Shocked, surprised, dumbfounded. 1-1 this afternoon. Home game for Brighton, of course, remember. Looking to come here fresh off that really good 2-point victory last week. They would have been full of confidence, Judd, and they've been left at the blocks. Yeah, to beat Goodwood away from home would have gave them so much confidence. Maybe they were a bit complacent against these opponents, having seen the last few weeks, but as we know in Adelaide Footy League, you can't be complacent against anyone. Proven by Broadview, who actually beat the reigning premiers last year, as you said, when they only just got promoted. So they should have been more aware of the threat, and so far they haven't been able to handle any of it so far. And a real tough week, a tough fortnight as well coming up for Brighton. They've got Port District away, Sacred Heart, and then Prince Alfred in their next 3. Gee, I wouldn't want to be in their boots if they end up losing this. That could be 4 losses in a row if we go by the form. Gee, what a quarter. You couldn't script it any better for the Broadview Tigers coming away from home. 6 individual goal kickers. O'Leary's got 2 on the Sportal scoreboard. They lead 7 goals, 3-45 to Brighton 2 behind. Brent Backwell hasn't even left the bench yet. He's strolling out now. There he is, excuse me, in the middle. He's looking like he's got a message for his troops. We'll just leave it here for a few seconds and just see if we can pick something up. But Jad Gosson, that quarter was one that they will probably not run back on the Dartfish replay during the week. Yeah, unbelievable quarter. Couldn't have been any better for Broadview. They couldn't have dreamed of this, to be honest. 7 goals to none in the first quarter. They've been running on the ground more, accurate passes, tackles, sticking. Even the rare times they did go into their defence, they were able to intercept it and find a way to clear it out. They had 1 clear shot, I think, that quarter, and other than that, it's been totally Broadview's way, all over them in that quarter. The one positive is, of course, there's 3 quarters remaining, and if the Tigers can kick 7 goals in a quarter, who's to say that Brighton can't come out this next quarter and kick 7 of their own and level us up? 7-3-45 Broadview, 2 behind the Bombers. Back with more after this. Beautiful. Oh, was it? Yeah. Is there a microphone on this? Yeah. Is there anything in the way, I guess?
No, it's just because it's really...
You're uncomfortable?
I'm super uncomfortable.
Is that cord going to work? Or?
Well,
not very long. Oh no, it's not very long, is it? We might just have to stay with this for the second quarter maybe, just because then we've got longer at half time to do a few tests. Because if we do it now and we do a couple of tests, it might be a bit hard to test and get back on in time. So. We're back at Brighton. Second quarter action umpire Sester gets us underway. They're going to have to come out firing and smarting after Brett Backwell got stuck into them at quarter time, the Bombers, and they come out. They've won the ground ball about 3 times in this one passage of play, but the umpire's going to bring it back because there's been an infringement and it'll be a free kick going the way of the Bombers out of the middle. So finally a chance to win a clearance, Jad.
Yeah, another one that the umpire gave them to get the clearance, so they're going to take any chance they can to get it forward, I think, at this stage.
Farquhar handball. Running off the back, Osborne. Comes to the near side, commentary wing. O'Leary handball to space, nobody in particular there. Over the ball first, Flanagan, and taking in a strong tackle. Manning's held up, umpire hovering, letting him play for the time being, but Brighton have come out with a bit of aggression. First to the footy on a few occasions.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. Not giving up, obviously. Still 3 quarters to go. Would have got a bit of a spray, I reckon, and was able to push forward here to their captain, Carthy, who gets it into the 50 metres. Yeah.
He got collected afterwards. Umpire decided it was okay, plays it on. They've come up with lots of aggression. Wellesby goes in strong and wins a tackle, and it'll be a shot on goal. Can Wellesby get the Bombers on the board?
Yeah, their tackling's been ferocious this start of the second quarter. Been a lot better to see. Their pressure around the ball, and that's what helped them get this opportunity to have a kick. So Wellesby was my buddy bet, gamble responsibility, as we mentioned, so still looking for him to get on the board here.
My buddy bet, of course, gamble responsibly, is blown up in my face as I had margin to be behind 2 goals all day. Wellesby, well done, sir! As a punter behind me wills his team to explode, that might just be a fire starter for the Bombers.
Lovely finish there, spinning into the goal with knew what he was doing the whole way. Like no doubts in his mind what his plan was, and check-sided it in, and love to see that very good start and much needed goal. So their first goal of the game there, and they were hoping for many more of that, but I'm really impressed with their first few minutes here of the second quarter.
Disappointing from a Broadview perspective, there was nobody on the line back there. That would have been an easy ball to rush through. Would have thought Cho and Yang would have got back, but just a missed assignment on that occasion as the ball's back in the middle, and we're back here on filming footy on this Saturday afternoon, Division 1 footy, round 4. Both these sides separated by 1 win and 1 loss on the table, 4th and 7th coming in, but Brighton have had some impressive matches and a couple of impressive wins. Hacked out of mid-air and down to Rhodes. He explores the terraces of the outer side. Little nudge, smart, didn't extend the arms, used the body well. McGarry playing in front. This time Brighton reaped the rewards of that particular tactic.
Yeah, McGarry been very good this game, and last game when I watched him, he's been solid in defence. He loves to take a mark and get that team to rebound off the half-back.
Oh, flying nicely. How's that for Segal? Reminded me of Andrew or Darren Jarman on that occasion. As Jarman, Segal looks to go towards his forward pack, but there's no ace in the pack on that occasion. Coming out there, Wheatrut weaves his way through. Been quiet, but just wants to indent himself on this game. At the back, 2 against 1. All he could do was soccer it towards goal with Tara Killingworth. Last time we were here a couple of weeks ago, best on ground, won the Archie's thongs and the Dartfish beanie. I dare say Judd Gosson, a few of the Broadview players would be in the conversation for best on ground, as the umpire awards a free kick and some relief for Broadview. Slow play coming out of the back line, Daniele. Bit of dirty dancing. Has the moves like Jagger as he comes out of half-back and looks towards his ruckman Anyang. Makes a contest but didn't take the footy with him, kicking about 10 centimetres. And going hard over the ball and winning the free kick is Dave McGarry.
Yeah, that's McGarry again in the defence. Reads the play really well, as we've seen a few times. Another chance to get his team forward here, which he loves to do, kicking long down the wing. Big fly here, Lachlan Johncock. No luck in that occasion. Carthy now forward, the captain pushing his team, willing his team forward, but the umpire has paid the free kick there. We're holding on a little bit in that contest.
That's Hamish Ralph down there. Ralph has a chance to clear, short. As I was saying, Dad, the Tigers, there'd be a few in the frame for those Archie Stongs so far.
Yeah, I really liked your boy Fergus. He's been good, as well as Cooper O'Leary kicking 2 goals. And as we mentioned, Gotch in the middle, he's been key to them getting so many clearances and so many inside 50s early.
Speak of Gotch, in that midfield pack. It's a strong pack in there, of course, with Little moving towards half forward. Is with a comprehensive lead on the board, the Tigers are well advised just to own the footy for a few minutes and play keepings off, as they do so now on the outer flank. He bites off something he likes. No reward on this occasion. Turnover. Brighton look inside to Higgins. Didn't like that option and instead goes down towards Illingworth. And the spoil comes in. It's a boundary throw in outer side. At least Brighton have started a bit stronger.
Yeah, that's it. And as you mentioned, they were the Broadview. They've been trying to keep it off, keep possession, take the heat out of this one in the second quarter. But they've done well to wrestle the possession back.
Trying to take full toll now as Xavier Gotch awaits re-entry on the boundary line. He's looking on, wishing he was in the fray. It's a contest free kick just outside his range. Launches down there. Anyang gets back. Hands to it. Strong, the ruckman. He's been good. There he is. Silky from Cho Anyang. He's really made a difference this season so far, is the big fella. A little bit of afters, but nothing the umpire disagrees with, umpire Sester. And umpire Rob Kane as well. A special shout out to the umpires in Community Umpiring Week. On the boundary, Wayne and Sam Scarman. And between the goals this afternoon, Chris May and James Turner. Here they go again. 3-on-1 though, one-handed effort, perhaps not the best option to go with. Go with the 2 hands, bring the footy down, and don't go in there and give away a free kick, young fella, but he puts enough pressure on without being too lethal. But Brighton, Jad Gosson, they can't afford those one-handed little dinky attempts at marking. They've got to go in and play the percentages.
Yeah, that's it, especially when you can see such a big score early. You just need to keep the simple stuff right, do the simple stuff right, as they always say. Keep it simple, kiss, I won't say the last one, but continue on from there. And as we see like this, taking a mark on the wing, just the fundamentals of the game to try and get back into this contest.
Keep it simple, silly, I think is what you're alluding to. Not sure why you wouldn't say that final word. I digress, back to the action. Winning at a ground level was the Tigers, but taking it away was Osborne. Nifty Nigel His kick, not one of his best. Wouldn't want that on the highlights reel, thanks to Filming Footy and Sports Interactive. Perhaps put that last minute in the can if you're watching it from the live stream or on the replay. Thanks for joining us. Ball right in front of us as umpire Rob Kane comes sprinting over in the white hat. Really controlling the area well there as he's going back a few metres and sharing a laugh with the players. Good to see the umpires and the players enjoying their afternoon. It's a release for both players, umpires and all involved. Quick sweeping play, handball game on full display from the Tigers. They're roaring off half back, but it's an aimless kick. It's going to come right back. Here's Seagal. Signals his intentions. Wide, but the Broadview defender closed nicely. Well done, Patrico, lending a hand back there, I think it was. Outer side, and the Tigers can switch once again into their possession game. McKinnon Collins takes the mark, handballs quickly. They're off again, just one more possession and they're off to the races. And here is that kick. It comes in one-on-one, strong contest. Even stronger mark. And the Tigers surgically making their way through the Brighton zone.
Yeah, for sure, and it's more of what we saw in the first quarter. Their accurate kicking. They must have a high percentage of accurate kicking from what we can see today. Finding targets up the field and always plenty of options if that one doesn't work out. As he has a shot here and sails over the umpire's head, so that's another goal now. Makes it 8-3, 45 to Broadview. So they've wrestled back a bit of control in this game with Brighton coming out strong after the quarter time break and get their first goal of this quarter.
And for all the positive start of this quarter for Brighton, it's only one goal apiece after 10 minutes and the margin remains more or less the same as it did at quarter time. 8-3, 51, 139 on the Sportal scoreboard, a margin of 42 points. This quarter's been much more even, but a little thing like the first quarter we can't quite forget, and that's where this game has been won so far. Up and down they go. McKinnon Collins does well. Storming out of the middle was Draper. Bit of shape on that kick. Getting to it first, Broadview. Ralph, that's a ripper. 2 on none. Where are the Goodwood spare players? If I look around, Osborne is playing loose in defence. He's running towards half back and smartly the Tigers avoid that area and go wide. Free kick, eyes on the footy, can't take your eyes off. We saw during the week, didn't we, with the Jacob Van Rooyen incident, that you take your eyes off the ball, you run the risk, I should say, of at least giving away a free kick. So smart to keep their eyes on the footy, Judd.
Yeah, that's it. Eyes on the ball, and then it's always a fair game from there.
They're picking their way through nicely. As I mentioned, Osborne, it looks like Cheeseman, Dutton, both playing loose at the moment. Kicks it straight towards Osborne, no communication, no chat. His teammate sprawled off his chest. Taken out, here is Osborne waiting smartly at the back. Anyang pressures the kick and it does enough to affect the turnover. Ralph swings around. Unforgivable. To have 2 or 3 loose and give up yet another uncontested mark.
Yeah, it's just the kicking efficiency at this stage. So Lachlan Johncock was free for a long time, but the kick to him was looping high up in the air, and that gave enough time for the defender to come and intercept it, and from that they found a mark inside 50.
Kobe Russell. 1 to his name this afternoon, the young man. Won't add to his tally with that as the wind grabbed it late, but it's short, spoilt through. Judd, how did Brighton get back in this game?
Yeah, I think they just need a bit of what we saw in the first 5 minutes of this quarter. Tough footy, keeping the fundamentals there, and we saw lots of big, strong tackles to put pressure and get them more possession of the ball around the field. So just go back to basics, I think, and maybe mark them up one-on-one and try and get the ball forward and contested marks as well.
Booming kick, uncontested mark on that occasion. Brighton coming out of defence, taking a note out of the Broadview notebook and just possessing the footy quickly, but the handball was under pressure immediately. Geez, like a dog on heat out there is Kobe Russell. He's chasing after everything this afternoon. Saints come towards the wing. Osborne now man on man, waiting patiently. Handball to no one in particular, and it might be a last possession as the umpire puts the hand straight up. And umpire Kane runs in and awards the free kick. The umpire deeming the ball beat the player over the boundary off the handball and a last possession free. Modra, if he's even a quarter of the player Tony was, it's a definite watch on Darcy Modra this afternoon. The surname of champion. Here's umpire Sester with the footy now. Towards the back, there's Modra, 2 touches in a few seconds, comes towards Pratico, he's got 2 goals. This time he's looking to feed his forwards, and guess who? Kobe Russell. That is one of the worst things I've seen on a footy pitch this season. It's not a red card, but umpire Sester going to his pocket and, well, the temperature gauge has just burst for that Brighton player. We'll tell you who it is in a second. He's put his opponent down behind the ball. It was a mark. It wasn't even a contest. The ball wasn't even in play. He stuck a fist into him, and it sums up Brighton's day, that incident right there, Judd.
Yeah, never good to see something like that, but well done for the umpire there. Controlled the situation, and it is umpire appreciation round, so always appreciating them. They do get a shot here though, an extra 25 metres like they needed any more help. Broadview today.
Quincy, the man who pays the price, he's offered 10 minutes. Good to see the Broadview player who was dealt with making his way gingerly off the ground now, but Kobe Russell, gee, he wouldn't have had an easier shot for goal this season. He adds a second to his name this afternoon as Broadview pull further in front, and well, if Brighton had a forfeit card, Jad, they'd be playing it right about now, wouldn't they? Because they are not only at 6s and 7s on the pitch with their structure, but some of the players are well and truly losing their heads.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want when you're losing by this much and this early. You just need to keep your discipline. Don't give them any easy goals, and that occasion of the extra 25 metres, which he probably didn't even need to kick, so just an extra little bonus for Broadview. You don't need any more help out there.
We talk about aggression in contests, and it's great to see players going in hard with tackles, but as I mentioned, that was a mark. He was coming in for goal, it was behind the play, the ball wasn't there to be won, until discipline from the Goody Saints, where they look to answer that last goal within seconds of it being converted. Once again, the Tigers run out of their back 50, and they're not only taking uncontested marks, they're taking contested marks. That was Nick Little on that occasion, former South Adelaide player, of course, 2011 to 2019, playing for Broadview and instrumental in helping them achieve promotion to Division 1 after winning Division 2 last season. If you're looking for Jared Petrenko or Jesse White out there this afternoon, they've of course left the club in the off-season after the club were promoted, but even losing talent like that hasn't stopped them from beating the reigning Premier Port District, and they're up here by 49 points on Brighton midway through the second quarter, Jack.
Yeah, that's it. They're been very impressed with how they're running and spreading the field, going fast when needed, or slowing it down to take the heat out for a few minutes. Yeah, just all over them early, second quarter in this game.
Tigers allowing possession behind the ball, happy to give the Bombers time and space in the contest. Lovely! Farquhar jumping Jeds, even though his feet never left the ground. Bit of run off half back. Here we go, this is better. Looking down there for Chalmers, coming in the back. Wellesby's got the only goal in the afternoon. Looking to add a second to his name and a second to Brighton's name, and there's a few misunderstood instructions here. Jordan Wheater looking at Brent Backwell with a confused look on his face. The confusion is real, it's everywhere. That would have given him a little bit of hope, that last little snap from Wellesby. As it is, the waves crashing again. It's a tsunami running off half back for the Tigers. You can hear them roaring from here. Smart mark taken by Broadbent.
Yeah, Broadbent with a big mark in defence, possibly saving a goal there. So that's the kind of thing that they need to do more of. marking it and stopping the run of play, getting the ball forward, but smartly. You know, we don't want to just rush forward and lose possession quickly.
Smart coaching as well here from Broadview. They have their lead established. They dropped a loose man playing behind the ball. And you've got to hold on to those marks if you're playing Divi 1 footy. We saw this team, Brighton, playing patches, and they're having a real rough one at the moment. Strong tackle coming in, holding the ball decision. Well done. That's brilliant from a Lachlan Johncock, who was stuck on the bench for about 5 or 6 minutes. And I was thinking to myself, gee, it'd be good if he could be around the footy in this second quarter. And there he is. We see Nigel Osborne preparing to re-enter the fray. Also, Kale Wren for the Tigers. He's got a goal in the first quarter, and the captain, Jay O'Leary, having a much-needed spell on the boundary, ready to come on impact this game in the closing stages of this second quarter. But they're playing kick to kick at the moment. Both teams turning over at will. It's a 48-point margin, 9-4 to 1-4. Sportal scoreboard. They've made a mistake. The alarm bells are ringing, and Kobe Russell's got 3. I'm going to go with it, Jad. The white number. There he is. He's got 3. The lead blows out. Brent Backwell's not happy. Brighton are confused. But the Tigers, they're walking on air.
Yeah, that kind of sums up the game so far. Just a bit of a loose ball in the back line with some handballs, and lets the counter-attack, if you could call it that, they were in their back half, but the counter-attack to run on. And as you saw, as soon as they got possession, they had 3-4 players running with them in the tsunami, like you mentioned, and that was a bit of a sums up the game so far for us here.
Turning over in defensive 50 when you're kicking to an uncontested target. I hate to say it, but that's a droppable offence. Wouldn't surprise me to see a few of these blokes playing in the reserves next week for Brighton, but still time to turn it around. Leitra turns himself around. Only finds Jaden Ryan, and once again they're set up well behind the ball. They're set up well everywhere, the Tigers, this afternoon. Outer side has the choice of overlap, has the choice of 2 teammates running hard back towards goals, but presenting again down there. Fergus. Boundary. 9-goal margin, Jad Gosson. This game is blowing out. Still plenty of time. Just a reminder, of course, that yellow card for Jack Plenty. 10 minutes off, but he can be replaced. So it's a good thing that if you're thinking, well, Broadview are getting on top due to an extra man. Not the case.
It might seem like that, but no, it's not.
Definitely has seemed like they're playing with 3 or 4 extra men so far this afternoon. He's dived on that, but he's got up just at the right time to ball up a dangerous part of the ground. If the Tigers can bang a few goals on here, it's going to be game over at half time, Jad Gosson.
Yeah, that's right. So as the 2 ruckmen jostle for it, it might be over at half time, but you can always see comebacks in footy. A few quick goals here, you never know what can happen. Momentum is the word.
Seen it already a few times in the AFL this year where sides have been out to big leads. Saw it in a Division 4 footy game last week where a team led by 5 goals at 3/4 time, and that was the Paraka game. I'm trying to remember who they were playing, but they came over the top, just remain undefeated in that match and ran him into the ground. So Brent Backwell will be hoping that his troops have a couple of bottles of Michael's special stuff at half time in the change rooms, because right now they're in trouble. Osborne again attempts the one-handed mark. On that occasion though, it's because he was being held. He'll get a free kick and line up, 45-degree angle, pretty much 40 metres out. They need this. That's a big understatement.
Yeah, and if anyone's going to get them going, it's Osborne. He's a very tough player, always running hard, trying to find anything for his team. If they need him in defence, we saw him loose earlier, can go forward. In the votes last week as well in the best players.
Osborne. Can't take the full slice of the pie on that occasion, only takes the crust. That could be a handy point in 9 goals time. If they were to bang on 9 in a row, they lead by a point. As it is, they're down by 53. Sportal scoreboard, 10-4, 65. score, 1-5-11. I'll tell you what, Jad, if you played a bit of AFL fantasy, you'd want to have a few of these Broadview defenders in your team, because the Bombers are happy to let them play kick to kick back there.
Yeah, they're chipping it around, waiting for the right option, not rushing anything. Especially when you got to lead this by this much, there's no real use taking that many crazy risks. Even if it is only the second quarter, smart play, work smart, not harder, as they say, and finding the right options.
Flanagan to no one in particular, but that'll do. It'll be a last possession free kick. Brighton chance to reload the Bombers. Must be almost time for Jack Plenty to re-enter as he has a last minute chat with his coach. Down towards Carthy, too far out to score. Improves the angle slightly, lowers his eyes, has a target in mind. Over the head of Illingworth, comes to the back there, Wellesby, he's been good. Picks it up, handball was back toward him. No time for Illingworth on that occasion, sloppy. Ball comes back to him. Weetra! Or is it Warner? It is. Warner in from the side there. Got my W's mixed up on that occasion, Judd, but a goal they sorely need.
Yeah, and impressive again by Wellesby there. Even though he's a big man, very tall, but he's good at, below his knees, sorry. And he picked up the ball there and helped to create this opportunity.
Aaron Warner. Jeez, another miss. Doesn't live up to his name. Can't sound the warning signs on the Broadview bench. We've ticked over 25 minutes. All by himself, Green. Pushing all the way back to defence to get himself a touch. He looks happy just to hold it up, and they went into quarter time with a handy lead, and they'll go in with an even handier lead. On the boundary, O'Leary ignored, he was all in space. Jump up, took his own teammate out. And a great opening 5 minutes of that second quarter for Brighton. They were first to the footy, established a foothold back in the contest, but Broadview happy to sit one behind the play, got a goal of their own. Some ill discipline, and we saw a yellow card in that quarter go the way of Jack Plenty. He'll be back in the second half. An injury perhaps down here for Brighton. We'll keep an eye on that and bring you updates as it comes to hands. As Jordan Bastian just testing out his feet on both sides. But the Broadview Tigers, they have come to play. They're pumped up. High fives all around. 10 goals for, 64 the Broadview Tigers. 1 goal, 6-12. It's a lead of 52 points at the main break. Jad Gosson.
Yeah, that's right. 52 points, as you said. They've been good disposal efficiency, getting the marks when needed. Good tackling, just all round, not too much to complain about, but I'm sure it's going to be a big chat for Brett Blackwell, in the changing rooms of Brighton Bombers. Plenty to fix up and come back for the second half and see what they can do to try and improve this scoreboard.
And as you said, Jad, no excuses. The wind is fine, the conditions are great. The margin is heavy, but who knows? That's footy. Could be a turnaround in this second half. Thanks to the Adelaide Footy League, Sports Interactive, Dartfish, our sponsors on the scoreboard, Squirrel, Farmers Leap, Roll the Dice, the Bannon Crew, and of course, Buddy Bet, gamble responsibly. It's round 4 Adelaide Footy League. We'll be back in the third quarter shortly.
Yeah. Let him know what happened.
Yeah. Are you going to try to switch it up, or are you going to
that is everything else. It's not long enough. What I thought maybe is so I don't bump into you guys, maybe you move over here and we plug in that in here and I can sit here. So then the mic could reach across here. It's in between you. I'm out of your way.
If you move the table here, you stand in front of us.
No, it's a bit hard. He'll be in a way.
I'll be
That chord's okay, though. That works? Have a few tests. I can do that. They're going to have to come out firing and smarting after Brett Backwell.
Are you going to talk to John or not?
Yep.
If you do, ask him about the picture he wants, because I don't understand.
What do you say?
Take a photo from ground or film setup with camera. So I'm thinking from down there.
From here. Yeah.
Of film, with camera person set up, please. Yeah, with laser set up.
A good idea to do that.
Yeah, that's why I said talk to him.
Yeah.
If he could.
So you're having a chat with him?
Yeah.
So he'll explain it. Maybe still
do it, bro.
Maybe still do it.
Yeah.
It's back. Maybe do it.
I told him to mention it and then I'll see what it says.
I think we're doing a pretty good job considering.
Yeah.
You'll notice most times in
So get better.
it's a bit of a habit of mine to say your name.
Oh no, that's okay.
Normally it's
Yes.
I mean, don't love it.
Yeah, I don't either. Maybe. Main like. That's not too bad. Oh, it's not even stretching it though. It's just this cord, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine
Save
there.
my back and my shoulder.
Oh, is that what was wrong?
Because like I'm
good
short
there.
and
Yeah.
high,
No, that's
and
fine.
I have to keep my arm up.
However
so
you however you're
it's just a
all
little
good. Where's Judd? We're gonna
And now I'm gonna be.
go back on soon.
This might be a little in your way, but
No, mate, that's fine. I'll make it. Oh, they've called him a Sacred Heart player, mate. No, I'm joking.
he's in my club footy team.
Oh, he's in. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I think he does the stats. So he's
You go to Sacred Heart?
Yeah.
Shocks, bro. No, they're playing so well in the.
Yeah. Jeez. But yeah, I played basketball for Sacred Heart, and I played Bombers for club footy.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
Yeah.
You play here.
I feel like you'd be a
Yeah.
better basketball player than
I am.
you'd be shorter.
Yeah.
All right, we need to go
Yeah,
back
good.
on. Are we ready?
I think we could have.
Yep.
Judd, you ready?
Yeah.
I'll bring us back.
This wasn't working very well.
If you can give me a 5-4 and then.
Just check. Can you
Oh,
hear
it's
the
on.
stream? Yeah, it's on, but can you hear it? So we're just making a conversation. That's right.
Oh, quarter speaking. Didn't swear. Back we are at Brighton Community Sports Centre. The lacrosse in the distance and the rugby union behind us, but our main event and our eyes are focused right here on Brighton Oval. The Brighton Bombers looking to come out of the blocks a bit stronger in this second half because they've got it all ahead of them. The Broadview Tigers 10-4-64, a difference of 52 points. We're back, of course, thanks to Filming Footy, Sports Interactive, our fantastic sponsors at Buddy Bet, gamble responsibly. Our scoreboard sponsors in Sportal, of course, Dartfish, Farmers Leap, and Judd Gosson, Archie Stongs, and Dartfish Beanie. I tell you what, Kobe Russell with 4 goals will be hard to beat from here.
Yeah, 4 goals is always very impressive. If he gets 5 and brings it on, I think he's guaranteed to get it. But a lot of strong performers today for Broadview, and that helped them with get this big lead.
The midfield group for Broadview have got O'Leary's in there as well. I've been really impressed with Cho and Yang around the ground too. You see a lot of ruckmen have impact in the initial clearance, but he's really got around the ground and tested the endurance of the Brighton rucks this afternoon. Quick chain of handballs are underway in this second half. The sun is shining on us. Can the sun shine on Brighton in this third quarter? Quick kick, it's going to cause a few issues down there. Gee, spins away like a lazy Susan, gets on the right boot, swinging out towards the commentary side, shining like an angel with that red hair. That was Will Scudden, playing his first game of the season this afternoon for Broadview. First to it with the handball, Illingworth. Comes to the back. Cheeseman doesn't. Umpire Sesta says throw it in. No prior, tackled over the boundary line. Been really impressed with Little's work around the footy today. He's really been good for Broadview, and of course Gotch, former South Adelaide Panthers. Both played at the Panthers between 2011 and 2019, handy inclusions for Broadview. Gotch playing his first game of 2023 for the Tigers after helping them out last year. Smart little paddle, and they're combining again, this time Little to O'Leary. Forward. Strong mark, and I said in the first quarter, if you're going to wear those boots, you've got to play well. Logan McKinnon-Collins, otherwise known as the Hyphen, I hope, takes the mark. He'll line up to extend this Broadview margin.
Yeah, anyone with a hyphen is known as a hyphen. Doesn't matter if you are or not, you are from now on. So, yeah, those very quick handballs right in front of us to get this opportunity. Kicks it straight, and another goal given. So McKinnon-Collins was his first for the afternoon to extend the lead out for Broadview, and starting the quarter as they left off in the first half.
McKinnon-Collins, the Pink Panther, converts that truly over the goal umpire's lovely scone down there. between the two posts, and the margin extends 11-4-70, 1-6-12. I'm not sure what Brighton can do to arrest this Tigers steam train, because they are on a mission this afternoon as the ball is back in the middle of the grounds. Umpires Rob Kane and Dennis Sester in the middle. Boundary Sam Scarman, Wayne Scarman. Goal umpires Chris May, James Turner. Away we go again. First to the footy, it's Broadview. It's been like that all afternoon. Come through Scadden. Handball at the back, it's a sharp kick. Great hand to it from Loy. Tackle followed up O'Leary. He's not making much of an attempt. That's holding the ball every day of the week. Umpire Rob Kane, smart to pay that. Loy was happy for the ball up to be paid. You've got to make an attempt. Didn't do so. Broadview, just over the head of a Russell who's got forward. Tackled hard into the ground. Head didn't hit the turf. Play on, and it's in there again. Deep inside forward 50. Jad Gosson.
The player a bit slow to get up, but it was a good fair contest, I believe. Ball goes here in the 50 as they try and get the ball forward. A few players try and clear it now for Brighton, who should and do, to a bit of a mismatch though, and it's punched down. Big Ruckman's chasing after it but just can't get there as it's snapped around the body to the loose man in defence. So 15, which is teamish. Ralph with the mark in defence.
Ralph comes out to his commentary side wing. Finds the captain O'Leary, and here's Nick Little. Geez, presenting like a steam train. Is that Nick Little, or is that the steam ranger down there? Because he's got absolute smoke coming out of his ears. He's really working hard for the team. Holds it up. Smart play, takes his full time, waits for the umpire to call him on, does so. Little towards forward 50, bit of holding going on. Waiting down there, a rather aimless kick, but it's going to be good. Works out. Lachlan Johncock, another hyphen this afternoon. The Brighton hyphen. Forward 50, playing in front, but he sat it on him. Needed to put that ball a few metres out in front of him, would have been able to run onto it, and he's dived on the footy there. Really good umpiring from Rob Kane. Ball was on the ground. The player has dived on the ball, and in that case, it doesn't matter if you've had prior opportunity, you have to get the ball out. So prior does not even matter in that occasion, Jad.
Yeah, sounds like you got some experience in these rules. Being a former umpire yourself, so good insight from yourself in that occasion.
Indeed, umpired since I was about 17 years old, so I still have a fond appreciation for the craft. But always better when they're not really noticed, and I have to say, umpire Sester and Kane haven't been noticed this afternoon, as Kane, I love umpire Robert Kane, he's a bit of a statue there with his play on call, really nicely done. Just got to assert himself here as the players go hammer and tong, a bit of feeling, a bit of fight, but it's really no good for Brighton to be aggressive at ground level, physical, when they can't even back it up with a forward 50 entry, let alone a goal.
Yeah, we were talking about the aggression earlier and how there's different types of aggression. Some is fair and part of the game to be aggressive and push the ball towards your own goals, but sometimes it can be tiring just to use all that aggression for no reason.
Out of side mark taken. Can they start something? They got lucky there. It falls now to Illingworth. He dances and ducks and the kick around the body. Didn't really go to anyone in particular. Broadview would back themselves from here, but arriving quickly are Lachlan Johncock. Quick handball at the back. Smother of the week. If we had a sponsored segment, that'd be one of them. Smart mark. Chance to create something, but not for the first time. They fail to hit a target. High up and under, 2-on-1. They shouldn't be beaten here, the Bombers, but they might be, you know. Broadbent, quick handball, doesn't realise his teammate was under immediate pressure. Comes to Lloyd, ducks and dives, umpire Sester. Umpire Sester was the umpire in control, and umpire Kane has come in, seen something from his position. Important to mention the umpires, of course, have different positions, so it's great that they can support each other. If one umpire doesn't see it and the other umpire does see an infringement, they're encouraged to blow their whistle. Working together, there is a third team on match day. It is of course the umpiring team.
right. And Broadview, even though being so far ahead, their pressure has been very high. If we had a Fox Footy pressure rating, it'd be right up right now. Even with being ahead, like I said, not really letting up on the pressure. I feel like every kick Brighton have is under pressure, every movement they do. So that's been a big part to get them this far ahead and keeping them this far ahead.
Half back, and some of the fans here are falling asleep as they move the ball so slow. I think the bar's going to be busy in the third and fourth quarter if they don't tend to get a move on the scoreboard here, the Bombers. Fans are losing hope. Let's hope the players aren't, because there's a game to win here. It's a 58-point margin. I think that
and as we said, football is a mental game, and the momentum and the mentality can change in a heartbeat if everything goes your way for a few minutes.
ground level. O'Loughlin Johncock wrapped up, nice tight tackle. Wrapped him up like a 3-year-old hanging onto their bear at bedtime. An umpire will do his duty and earn his keep once again. Ball goes up, comes down, hard over the footy, holding free kick, and free kicks are going Broadview's way in this quarter. Short, out of side. And possession game. The Tigers, they can hold it up for as long as they like and play kick to kick for the remaining quarter and a half here. That kick had a bit of bite. Well done by Ryan, playing off half back. Quick handball. Bites off the 45. That's the kick that they're looking to attack the corridor with and build through the middle. Unsuccessful this occasion. Wellesby provides a good contest. Comes down to Miller. That's a bit better. Illingworth, both hands, follows up, drops the footy, holding the ball. Tried to really take the tackle on because he feels like he's got no support from his teammates, Jack.
Yeah, Illingworth kicked 4 goals 2 weeks ago. Last week playing off half back, however, so did not kick a goal. That one ruined my buddy bet on that occasion for gamble responsibly. But yeah, Illingworth trying to create something there, but just could not with people around him. Needed a bit of support there, but got caught unfortunately on the ball for him.
Well, he's only got himself to blame because he got 2 hands to the uncontested marking contest and couldn't take it.
That's it. And like we mentioned, you got to have the fundamentals, keep it simple, and when you get an opportunity like that, you got to take it, especially when you're losing by this much.
Spoke to Brett Backwell after his side's win 2 weeks ago here against St. Peter's Old Collegians on that occasion, and he wasn't really happy, and they won by 22. I dare say his mood will be a bit different, given they're currently losing by more than 50 points. Margin is 58 on the Sportal scoreboard, 11-4, 71-6. The Bombers, they failed to take off this afternoon as we approach 11 minutes in this third quarter. It's a beautiful afternoon for footy. Thanks to Filming Footy and Sports Interactive, waiting at the back. Quick handball, but he can't take possession. Cheeseman Dutton. Maternia over coming out of the defensive 50, and another chance to reload. McGarry, nice. Hands off. It's a whipping kick from that man who was yellow carded in the second quarter. Plenty. And he finds his target in Miller.
Miller here, so watching him last week, he loves the snap. He snapped it all around the field, not just at the goal, so I'm sure he would love this opportunity now.
And there was a band called the Steve Miller Band back in the 80s, had a hit single with Abracadabra, and that was magical from Miller. Second goal of the afternoon to Brighton. Is that just a bit of a fire burnt and a fire starter? This game, the margin is heavy, Jad, but there's a glimmer of hope.
That's it, there's always a glimmer of hope, and as I say, he likes to snap. That time he didn't snap, but it worked out well for him in the end, getting the second goal on the board for Brighton this evening. So they're going to be definitely wanting more of of that. They locked the ball in their 50 like Broadview were doing the first half, and the repeat entries found a goal, so they'll be hoping for more of that.
O'Leary, Little, the ruckman, McKinnon, Collins and Gotch having a bit of a meeting after that goal in the middle for Broadview. And through Green they go forward once again. Can't quite get the marking contest he wanted, but he butters up nicely. He's taken him high. A bit too much aggression from Fergus Green there. Sorry, Jack Fergus. Get myself mixed up with the Hawthorn forward, of course, Fergus Green, who's been dropped to the VFL this week. So if you're watching Fergus, unlucky for you. Here's Broadview as they look to go forward again, as Brett Backwell walks back to his bench in disgust. He would have been hoping after that goal they would have been able to pour the pressure on at contest and get it forward again. As it is, they're just floating off their direct opponents and they're just not putting any pressure on these marks. That's a bit of pressure on the marking contest, but it was due to Fergus's kick. It was on the head of his intended target. No communication. But Warner is smart, first to it, takes strike, Campbell, turnover, Flanagan, short, not 15, Gotch, trust him to use it well. Body contact at the right time from Russell, he's got 4, looking for 5. Here's Anyang, he's done well. Russell! It's a handful! He's a handful, Broadview are a handful, Brighton have no answers.
Yeah, so I noticed off the ball there, the Brighton player went up to make a 2-on contest, but they lost that contest, leaving Fergus in the back of the pack to get the ball forward, and good work there by the ruckman on hands and knees to handball it to Russell in the end to kick the goal. So always good to see your ruckman getting down and dirty and helping his teammates, not just staying up and getting the ball, doing his job of taps in the marks, but also doing midfielder work.
Inspiration taken perhaps from Max Gawn at Melbourne. Another ruckman, we've seen McKinnon, Collins and Cho Anyang rotate between ruck and a half-back or a full-back position this afternoon. So if you've got the height and you can play multiple positions, great flexibility for Broadview. Russell has his 5th. He's well on the frame for those Archie Stongs. Warner takes strike, goes forward. Balls to the feet of Wheatra, tries to weave his way through, but he's taken in a strong tackle down there by Ralph.
Yeah, so Ralph with the tackle there and the ball was bowled up. So finally in the forward line for Brighton, trying to do something with it, but they do get another clearance Broadview, to no one in particular, however, and they're a bit outnumbered now, trying to rebound it into their 50.
It's a trampoline, that forward 50 so far this afternoon for Brighton. It bounces out as quickly as it goes in. They'll get another opportunity through a free kick, and it'll be a 25-metre penalty, I believe, as the umpires come together to make sure the decision gets paid correctly. With time off in Division 1 footy, it just pays for the umpires sometimes to chat and make sure that the decision is 100% correct. And Brighton, from a free kick, a chance to answer that goal from Russell. And Judd, being their home ground, the amount of misses with not a breath of wind is concerning.
Yeah, last week they were really good. They kicked 11 goals, 6 behinds, and they only won by 2 points, so that was a big part of why they won. But this week just cannot seem to find the goals when needed.
Fergus waits down, Scadden there as well. Flurry of handballs, Carthy in strong. Losing his grip was Draper. Going in strongly again, McKinnon, Collins, and Little's in there. Wraps him up like a panther. Former South Adelaide representative, of course, Nick Little, a SANFL star over his 9 seasons at Noarlunga. They choose to handball as their first option. There's the strength of McKinnon, Collins. I'm going to give it a sponsor. It's the Jack Moore tackle of the day right there. Sponsored by yours truly. He's in the ruck now. He's doing a bit of everything. Here's Carthy. He just says, I'll make it someone else's problem, but at least he gains 50 metres. How many times, Jad, have they gone to take possession and just with no pressure on them, failed to take the ball? Caught high. Judd, their basic skills have been disappointing.
Yeah, that's right. They're fumbling a lot under pressure, and sometimes without that much pressure, as they are trying to move forward now. But yeah, they're not really doing fundamentals right, and that's been a big part of this game.
Great smother coming off there from Bennett, like a dog with a bone. Hasn't put his head down this afternoon. Plenty back on the field after his 10-minute rest, thanks to a yellow card in that second quarter if you weren't with us. McDonald re-enters the fray. Nigel Osborne comes for a rest. Free kick moments ago for a fend-off, if you were wondering. They've got 3 behind the ball there as the Bombers have pushed them up to provide support around the contest, and they, well, you win the ball at source that way, Jad, but if you kick it quickly, you're going to turn it over every day of the week.
Yeah, and it's nice to have someone there in the defence when needed. And I think I mentioned a few times, but even with a big lead, then they're still being disciplined in defence, still getting back and helping each other.
It pays, of course, to have over 20 years of SANFL league experience in that midfield with Gotch and Little. No, that even if you have a strong lead, we saw only have to look as far as last season. Back to that thought in a moment. They're going forward again. Anyang, just over his head, and it goes through from behind. I was going to say, we saw last year with Old Ignatians surviving relegation on percentage alone. And it's this round 4 football, you might think, gee, 57, 58 point margin. A goal either way might not make the difference. But at the end of the season, you look at the table, percentage might be the difference between making finals. Percentage might be a difference between being relegated.
Yeah, that's it. Especially when there's a relegation in this league, it's so important to do as much as you can to avoid it, and the percentage plays a big part in
Little, on the needle kick, just bit off a bit more than he could shoot. Love that free kick from Sesta. He's stuck it out to end off the tackle. That's exactly what we want to get away from in all rules of football. If you fend off the defender, must get a kick or handball. Didn't. Meanwhile, kick near side, comes at the back. Jackson Wilson hasn't seen much of it. He's left a bit of carnage in his way. I'll tell you what, Jack Fergus, even though his teammate Kobe Russell's had 5 goals, he has been everywhere, and his feet might be a bit sore because he wants those Archie stocks.
Yeah, he wouldn't. They're very good quality.
Look out for those support thongs and Dartfish beanie, thanks to our sponsors, of course. Archie's and Dartfish. Sports Interactive, filming footy, Sportal, Saturday afternoon footy. Strong mark in defence. It's going to bounce right back out. I mentioned earlier it's like a trampoline. It's a high quality trampoline. It's not one you pick up at Audi special buys, is it? But that defensive 50, it's just rebounding out of there far too often for Brent Backwell and Brighton's desire. Was Wilson has it, a little short. Towards contest, McKinnon Collins. He wants the Archies. That kick doesn't prove it, but the mark did. Puts his hands on his knees, thought he'd mucked it up for his team, but his midfielders have saved the day once again. Pratico takes it away to Modra, and they're playing on at all costs. They know they've got the Bombers spent. It's an aimless kick. It was touched off the boot. Handball comes at the back to Bennett, and they can reload off half-back. Chasing after at the hyphen. Butters up O'Loughlin, John Cock, dances around McKinnon Collins. Hyphen on hyphen down there. Kick goes towards the middle of the ground. All by himself is Draper. Puts on the dirty dancing. Loads up. Just offline.
Another behind there for Brighton, so that makes it 2-8 on the scoreboard. They would want half of them or a bit more, and they would be really in this one, but unfortunately for them, just haven't been accurate when going for goal.
I got a bit excited there, Judd, if you didn't notice. O'Loughlin, Johncock and McKinnon Collins in a bit of a contest. It was an old-fashioned hyphen off.
Yeah, you've really taken a liking to all these hyphen players, and it's good to see 2 of them on each other. For you, you would have loved that one.
Well, just needed Cheeseman Dutton to get involved. Would have had a hyphen 3-way there. Anyway, less about that the better. I'll move on and we'll go back to the footy on the outer side. Taken high, just late there was Jack Chalmers. Swimming upstream, Chalmers, unfortunately on that occasion. Chomping at the bit to get involved, but late. Free kick. Anyang does well, he uses his bulk to protect the fall of the ball from his immediate defender. And another mark inside 50. This man wants those thongs, it's Jack Fergus again. Lining up for his second.
Yeah, you mentioned Anyang there. He's been playing mostly forward this quarter, so that it would be McKinnon Collins being in the ruck. I've been very impressed with him helping around the mark and around the ground and taking big marks on the wing, which you see at all levels of footy goes a long way to helping you win matches.
I think I mentioned Anyang was at full back earlier. My mistake, apologies. He is playing, of course, that full forward and ruck dual position role. Tight angle, Fergus can't convert behind. Fresh on the ground, O'Leary looking to close down his opposite number 3, Illingworth, but Illingworth says, I've got bigger boots than you, I've got some Formula 1 DRS in these. Wellesby, end to end, this might take about 12 seconds to go from one end of the ground to the other. It's getting there, it's going to beat him through! That might be a goal of the week contender. From flank to flank, he's hurt himself, he's picked up an injury here, Wellesby. But the Bombers, gee, it was like an air raid from full back to full forward. They've added a goal to their name and a couple more goals before 3/4 time, Jad Gosselin, you never know.
Yeah, for sure. And Wellesby there, the big man with very good movement with his feet there, get some space, and that could be a Thirsty Camel goal of the week. So you can always vote for that one on the Facebook page. So if you are a Brighton fan and still watching, go on there and vote for that goal if it's nominated. Very good goal, that one.
Quarters are long, you can kick up to it. We saw Broadview kick 7 in the opening term, and it's only a 9-goal margin. So if you use that logic, the Bombers are in this game. Might be a long bow to draw, but you never know in footy. Add another couple before the siren sounds. Have Broadview used all their petrol tickets? Have they used their petrol vouchers? Just coming too late, that last raid on goal for the Bombers. As it is, they add a couple to their name in that 3rd quarter. They move along to 3-8-26, but they're in a big hole. 52-point margin the way of Broadview, 12-6-78. And for all Brighton's good work, the margin has remained exactly the same as half time. It was 52 then, it's 52 now. And what is there to be gained for Brighton in the 4th quarter, Jad Gosselin?
Yeah, so since quarter time they've been pretty much even with them, so the damage was done that 1st quarter, but what they can do from now on is just, like we said, keep it simple, do the fundamentals well. They've done a little bit of that in that quarter. You saw some good passages of play, but just a bit too inconsistent and could not impact the margin enough, or at all really, but we'll see what they can do in the last quarter. You never know what can happen, and they've been really pushing hard and not giving up. They had a big last quarter last week, winning by 2 points, so you never know, and they'll be confident with the fitness levels from what we saw last week.
So goal kickers to 3/4 time. Wellesby has 2, Miller with 1 for the Bombers. For Broadview, Pratico, Wren, Fergus, Daniele, and of course the Ryan Johnson Collins have a single. 2 for O'Leary, and Kobe Russell wants those Archie thongs. He's got himself 5 goals to 3/4 time. A lead of 52 points from the Sportal scoreboard. Back with the 4th quarter after this on Filming Footy. Good mate.
Filming was way easier this quarter.
Yeah.
Way.
I'm up the bottom of the table though.
Yeah. I think that's me sometimes.
Oh yeah,
I kind of move forward.
but yeah, it's
Yeah, it's right. We're doing the best of what we can do with that circumstance.
Doing the best you can.
That goal was insane.
What goal was that? End to end? Yeah.
Got a good roll on it.
No, that was good, yeah. Thought the defenders didn't get there.
Yeah, so did I.
They didn't punch. Should have used that line.
I have to record like 2 goals, 2 marks for each week.
So is that you that does that?
Yeah, so
That gets sent to me on a Sunday.
Oh, awesome.
50 goals and marks of the week.
Yeah, awesome.
It's my decision.
So I take a screenshot on my phone every time good mark or good goal happens.
I like that. I'm going to put that one in for sure.
Yeah.
Like even though the goal was kind of regulation, the whole pace of play was really good.
Yeah.
I put one in last week. It was uni guys. It was 7. It was a goal from like 10 metres in front. But it was on the wing and like handballs and.
Oh, so it was like more of the team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How to make it work is like, what are you doing? This goal was fucking shit out. Goal was like 5 minutes out.
So, sometimes it's not about the gun, it's about the lead.
Exactly right. What a shit game. I thought we'd be on for a good contest.
So did I, mate.
Bloody hell.
I've watched both of these teams play, so
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I've played Broadview tomorrow actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What's that under?
7.5.
Oh nice.
Getting with both hands lined up, dropping the footy, holding the ball.
It's position play.
This year I've been playing a forward flank, but most of my career I've been forward pocket. This week I might be in the pocket. I've never been great at it.
But you do it and you get picked, man.
Yeah.
If you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't enjoy it, stop playing.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't play last year because I thought there was going to be way too many numbers.
Oh yeah? There wasn't?
They didn't have enough, and then this year I was like, oh,
So that's for Brighton, yeah?
Brighton, yeah.
Oh, that's your home club.
Yeah.
Can you tomorrow or there?
In Broadview. It's a bit of a pain in the arse, but I'm sure Mum will be happy to see
Oh yeah, that's true.
watching footy at Broadview at 3:30.
You go, oh, 3:30, that's a shit time.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to get her a good present.
We'll start thinking
Give me 2
about
seconds.
we'll start thinking about best players and stuff near the end.
Oh mate, it's a battle between Russell and Fergus. Yeah.
You record for me, plug it in and wrap it up for me because I'm not sure I'll have enough time to do it. Thank you.
Thanks to Filming Footy Sports Interactive. It's Saturday afternoon footy in the Adelaide Football League. 4th quarter if you're still with us, thank you. As Brighton have a big task ahead of them, but Broadview look to add a bit of percentage to their cause. Your keys for Brighton in this 4th quarter, what is there to achieve? Jad Gosson.
Yeah, for Brighton, they just got to save some face here at home. I think they can maybe get with it if they get very quick goals early on, but it's really looking like a big victory here for Broadview away from home.
And for Broadview, Jad, I guess they'd be looking to add a few more goals to their cause, boost that percentage. And as we were talking about earlier, percentage is a difference maker sometimes come end of season.
Yeah, exactly. And them being promoted, they know the importance of getting percentage on the board and getting wins on the board early. So they'll be definitely looking here to boost their percentage, especially if they're pushing for finals, being in mid-table at the moment.
And an away trip, an away win is always a bit of a fillet for the players, the coaching staff, the fans. For those who have trekked halfway across town to watch their beloved Tigers this afternoon, they'd be absolutely buoyant with the state of the game. 52 points the diff. 4th quarter action. Stay with us here because of course after the game the winner, the best on ground, Archie Stongs. Judd and I have got it down to about 2 or 3 names. We'll bring you those shortly, and after the game we'll hand out the Archie's Arch Support Thongs. They are a beautiful piece of rubber, and Dartfish beanie to our best on grounds. And then we'll venture home and enjoy a Saturday night footy feast if you're AFL inclined. Carlton and Western Bulldogs, that should be an absolute beauty of a match later on this afternoon, Judd. And I dare say I think the Power might be getting the job done as we speak. You're a Power man?
Yeah, happy with the Power win today down in Tasmania.
solid. Back to the action now because Brighton haven't given up, but Broadview have been disciplined all day. Players in the right positions. There are a bunch of Digletts out there, I say, Judd. You know, Diglett from Pokemon, where just always pops up in that right or maybe wrong position, but they've just always popped up in the right spot.
Yeah, they've been very good with their movement and reading the play, their IQ and their fitness levels also to keep running and leading for their teammates, taking big marks like that one there.
Strong hands. Wilson. Strong hands. Jackson Wilson indeed. Jackson Wilson. It's Jackson season coming off the half-back flank. Beautiful contest and doing well. Chalmers going back with the ball. Eyes on the footy. Didn't take him off once. Ball just flirting with the boundary line, but no commitment made. Umpire Rob Kane comes in, certainly add a bit of bleach to his wash with that white hat. Not a speck of dirt on that, which means he been out of the action, Rob Kane, this afternoon, but he's been brilliant alongside his umpiring partner, Dennis Sester. Last possession handball, Otis Carthy on the mark. He's dancing around, of course, no stand rule in the Adelaide Football League. He can dance around as much as you like, claps his hands. Broadview go forward once again through Daniele. There's a few interesting hairstyles out there by the Tigers, but I tell you what, when you can play footy and you can win games like they're on the road to doing, you can wear whatever colour boots you like, Judd. You can cut your hair however you want because your skills do the talking for you. That one overcooked on that occasion. Yeah, for sure. And in that occasion there, it was just bounced off his shoe to around the pool. The player was a bit cleaned up, and but he's okay. A bit slow to get up, but he's okay now. Yeah, he was banged up. There's listless looks on the faces of most of the Brighton players as we see Blake Higgins and Finlay Bennett on the bench in front of us here, and also taking a rescue is Dylan Draper. Oh, that's going to be holding the ball. He's throwing it out, and they're off to the races once again. Is this Brighton Oval or Morphettville Parks? I don't know. Ball goes to the outer wing, and all of that fast ball movement is held up and stifled for a second, and that allowed the Broadview defender in Flanagan to get across. Sugar sweet spoil from Flanagan. The ball's in dispute. Taken down is Miller. Gets a handball out. But once again, there they are, the bunch of Digletts. They're popping up everywhere. And Broadview add a bit of calmness, add a bit of composure, and they clear the ball with absolute poise. Yeah, so the defender there was a bit shorter than his opponent Wellesby on that occasion, but did well to find the little punch and find the kick, find the little touch to stop him marking it, and then the numbers to flood back and help his teammates out. That's been very much a key to this game, and the good defence by Broadview. Despite them kicking 12 goals, their defence has been impressive as well. Disappointing. The one thing the Bombers have had their hat hung on this afternoon, when they move the ball fast, they look really spiteful and really fast and attacking. That's a bit of Hollywood from Anyang. Bit of a double-handed tap. In a ground level, he's been everywhere today. Russell, he's got 5. He's sharing the spoils now. Gee, this is absolute Hollywood stuff. Harlem Globetrotters on the Brighton Oval this afternoon, the Broadview Tigers. They're just messing with them now, Judd Goss, and they've got them in their palm of their hands, and they're just playing with them. Yeah, the good work there to be unselfish. Could have easily had a shot from that angle, and how far out. Chipped it around, found his opponent a little bit closer, bit of a better angle, and the big ruckman Anyang got off to a good start this fourth quarter and been good all game. One half of the brothers O'Leary. Cooper O'Leary pops it through, adds to his target. He's up to 3 goals. He's chasing down that man, Kobe Russell. Russell might have second thoughts if he sees O'Leary in space next time they go forward, but the Tigers are roaring towards a victory here, and the Bombers have waved the white flag. I think it can be truly said. They had a bit of a sharpness going forward, but the last entry into forward 50 for Brighton, one player just held the ball up for about 3 or 4 seconds. That was all it took for the Broadview defender to get back and spoil that ball. Otherwise, Wellesby would have had an uncontested mark. Yeah, and Cooper O'Leary been starting on the wing or in the middle even, and just 5 goals. Really impressed with his game. Not the biggest fellow you'll see, but does really well to use what he has to find space. And beside the ruckman duo, McKinnon Collins and of course Cho Anyang, you see there's not much height in this Broadview side. They're really backing themselves in with their speed, their ability to be first to contests, and of course the smaller blokes usually do have more of an endurance base, so they're backing themselves to last longer in games too.
Yeah, that's right, and they've been doing a lot of nice intercept marking, which comes also from not always being the biggest person. You can find that extra few metres with their speed and read the ball well with their football IQ to take a lot of intercept marks and find room around the ground.
Well, it was be brought back for a free kick. It's going the other way, and Broadview a chance to reload again, and they haven't done their homework because O'Leary's gone out the back. He's got his goal, he wants another, he's hungry for more. Had a bounce down there by the behind line, and Judd, you've got a bit of a observation.
Yeah, so he could have probably had a shot there, but he did a good unselfish thing and tried to pass, I believe. But again, running from that wing, using his space, had room there to have a shot. Bit of a unselfish act to pass it, but in the end results in a throw, which the ruckman grabs out the rocks.
How's that?
Around.
It's that man Fergus again. He definitely wants those Archie Stongs. Chopping out McKinnon Collins there in the ruck. He used his bulk, he used his size. If you're gonna be a stocky fella, I bet he's fit, I bet he's firing. You've got to use that bulk, and he's used it to perfection today, Green. He has been, Jack Fergus, I should say. He's been absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, Fergus been very impressive the way, and he's not stopped running all game. Always getting those contests, putting pressure on the opposition in the forward half.
One down. It's going to be a hold to Segal in the contest. As the Broadview player just clutches at his calf there. We'll get back to that. Bennett. Chalmers doesn't work. It's cut off again. Hunting after it, can't find it. Bennett butters up. Handball ineffective as O'Loughlin Johncock gets stuck into Logan McKinnon Collins, and I think it'll be a boundary throw-in, or it might be a last possession free kick awarded here to Broadview. It is, came off the hands. Throwing their bulk around, but they've been outclassed on the field this afternoon, the Bombers, but they're not going away just yet. And that kick there, well, that just about sums up Brighton's day.
Yeah, just another ineffective kick out on the full on that occasion on the wing. They did well to get the ball back in possession, but again, their kicking has not been accurate enough, and kicks out on full. And Broadview kick it forward in the 50. There's your boy Fergus.
Fergus it is. Gee, great spoil coming back. Broadbent crisp from Chris. He's doing a bit of dancing down there. It's a nice little reel in. Put the fishing rod out. Finlay Bennett, a couple of touches. There's an injured player in the direction of that kick. Doesn't look good. Hobbling off slowly from the outer side. Bit of a stoppage in play. We'll be able to bring you some scores in other games shortly, and stay tuned for that after the match, and look ahead to the next 5 weeks for both these sides. Some interesting encounters, to say the least, for both these teams. Coming up next week is a really important match for Brighton after being absolutely comprehensively beaten this afternoon. They head down to Port District to have started this season in shaky fashion, Jad. And then they have Sacred Heart, who at the moment are looking like grand finalists, and Prince Alfred. So a really challenging 3-week patch. They could be winless in the next month.
Yeah, after beating Goodwood last week, who were higher than the ladder at the time, they were probably hoping to get on from that and keep some momentum with a few wins in a row. But big loss here. They really need wins on the board now as we come into the middle part of the season.
This win will do wonders for Broadview, because the next 2 weeks against Gullies and then at Glenunga. So that's a really challenging fortnight, but then a couple of perhaps easy kills if you look at the table. They've got St. Peter's and Old Ignatians after that, who sit 9th and 10th currently. They back themselves to win in those 2 matches. So if they can take one of those Gully and Glenunga games as a win, they'd have set themselves up for a real good attack at the back half of the year. Speaking of attacks, they go forward again, and a bit of a tunnelling infringement, and Brighton will get a chance to attack the teeth of goals. But Jardy, if they can secure a win today, which looks likely, and push Gullies or Glenunga and get a couple of wins at Spock and Old Ignatius, those Spock and Ignatius games are both at home for Broadview. They would be feeling pretty good about their season, having already beaten last year's Premier's Port.
Yeah, that's right. So I will just watch this kick, see what happens with this one. And it drifts wide, so that's a behind again there for Brighton. Yeah, those games become very important, and it's good to see the newly promoted teams, after losing like big names, as you mentioned, Petrarca and White, to be pushing for finals with this squad. They'll take a lot from this victory. Coming to Brighton away is not an easy fixture, and they've very much impressed with their movement, their fitness, all around the ground, been very impressive.
The Bombers proven to be a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team this season in Division 1, having been comprehensively taken care of by Glenunga. Some saw that as a bit of a mulligan they can kind of ride off. Little G stretched every fibre in his arms there and came down with a beautiful mark. He hasn't stopped trying to push this margin out. That is a kick of SANFL veteran and stalwart Nick Little. Beautiful. Finds Cho Anyang. He's been one of their best. Provided a contest every time he goes in the footy. And Brighton have dropped every mark they've gone for this afternoon, but even those ones are sticking for the Tigers. Going left, going right, coming at the goals. Muscadden kicks it straight down the throat of his opponent, Bastion. Oh, they've mucked it up again on the outer side. How many times, Jad, have they had open men with not a ilk of pressure on their shoulders, and they've just, in layman's terms, stuffed it up?
Yeah, too many times to answer your question. They simple kicks or handballs, missing targets, and really gives your opponent, one, the ball, and second, it gives them confidence that even if we make a few mistakes, we'll get the ball back eventually.
Basic skills! That's absolutely magical from the pocket. And they pull and they pay full price from that mistake, because the Tigers have been absolutely crucifying them in every possible opportunity. And this is just cruel. Yeah, they're pushing the margin out, Jack.
Sorry, Jack. Yeah,
right.
just watching the play to see who that was, but very nice snap in the pocket. The margin is going out now. I think we can say that it's a bit of a fraction at this stage, unfortunately, for the home crowd here, but I believe that was the other O'Leary brother there, so he's been working hard in the midfield but found a goal up ball.
You have to pay compliment to Brighton for second and third quarter. They kept the margin relatively similar to what it was at quarter time, but it's threatening to blow out here in the fourth. Going forward, the Bombers, Higgins. First mark they've taken inside 50 all day. I'm not sure if that's a reliable start, but it seems the way. Miller spins around, backs himself, goals. There again, the captain O'Leary, a reliable customer. Gee, he can wear those pink boots to bed if he likes, because he has been on fire today, McKinnon Collins. That kick is no exception, coming across to pressure, hard smother. Down and dirty and getting over the footy again. They haven't given up. If the ball comes their way, they're going to still try. Is that McKinnon Collins again laying that tackle? Boy, he must need a new pair of thongs, McKinnon Collins, because he's putting his name up in lights as well.
Yeah, I've been very impressed. Since doing the majority of the ruck work, but also marking around the ground and been working very hard for his team.
I'll tell you what, Jad, I'm going to go out, even though I don't play footy, I'm going to go out and buy a pair of those pink boots, because I want to be like Logan McKinnon Collins. He is leading the way in that midfield group, giving Little, giving Gotch, giving O'Leary first look around the ground, and that's where they've won it. They've won the ball at the source, Jad, and it's been good night, darling, from there.
Yeah, that's right, and they're kicking and marking around the field. I think we've talked about it a few times, but it's very much the key to the game. Big contested marks when it matters.
McKinnon Collins, a man possessed. He came up at that contest like it was the last thing on earth. One towards the back, umpire's blowing the whistle, and the excitement in my voice just dies down for the time being as umpire Kane says we're going to have 25 metres for a bit of abuse. And he marches them down the ground. 25-metre penalty. You might as well play on now. You might as well try to add a couple of consolation goals. It's exactly what Brighton are doing. Wellesby on the outer side. He's getting forward again, puts his arms out, says, "Honour me, mate." But a bit of selfishness. He wanted to put himself in the goal book. Tarek Illingworth, he thought to himself, I might as well go for goal. What else is there to gain from this afternoon of, I think I can say it, Jad, utter embarrassment for Brighton?
Yeah, they've. That's another one that proves your point, where they've played on, ran fast down the wing, and had a good shot at goal. Unlucky that it hit the post, but just proves that when they take the game on and use their speed, they've been dangerous. And Broadview haven't always been able to defend that type of play, but they haven't done consistently enough this game.
Sam Daniele back to Patico, I should say, if I can spit out my Fruit Loops. Middle of the ground, McKinnon Collins is finishing this off like a greyhound out there. And even though this game is over, running into goals moments ago, Illingworth will come back to that thought. Forward 50, Wellsby should have got on it a moment ago. Well, if he's going to kick like that, maybe he shouldn't have got on it. Maybe Tarek Illingworth knew that he wasn't a reliable customer, so he didn't give it to him and went for goal himself. But that ball has been lost, new footy called for. But Judd, even if the game is over, you can still get in good time here to practice good habits, can't you? And if you stay selfish and you keep your head down, don't look for teammates, practice good habits. It'll help you in those close games. Yeah,
especially with the hard draw they've got coming up, as well as at this level, is really any chance you get to practice your craft and win quarters here and there goes a long way to winning games down the line.
Following up nicely, but the mark is taken. 2 hands in the air, 2 hands at ground level. Jarman Segal, he hasn't stopped trying. Neither is this man, Bryden's Hyphen O'Loughlin Johncock. A couple of great names for O'Loughlin Johncock and a couple of jukes around that footy. Aaron Warner. And we're right behind the kick. O'Loughlin Johncock, a couple of famous surnames of the Indigenous heritage, of course, Michael O'Loughlin and Stiffy Johncock for the Crows, and he showed all his poise in that last forward 50 entry. Warner stuck the jukes up, brought it down, but he can't finish his lunch. Up to the near side. How many times have we seen this afternoon, Judd, where they've had some fantastic moments of brilliance but just haven't been able to finish? And if you don't take your chances, and as some of the AFL coaches these days call it, nourishment of the scoreboard, players look up and see the margin blowing out and the effort drops, their heads drop.
Yeah, well said. And also, just the scoreboard is proof alone. 3 goals, 11 behinds this game. So this game they've been way off a target when going for goal, and they've had not as many opportunities, and they've not made the most of it when they do get them.
A tackle is textbook. You look up tackle in the dictionary, you should find that. Pin one arm and safely placed him on the ground. Had prior. Umpire agrees, waiting to play on. Another chance. Well taken, Miller. And Kenny add a 4th goal to Bryden's tally this afternoon. 3 goals, 11, as Judd alluded to. You turn 3 or 4 of those behinds into goals, and we've got a very different match. But it was 7 goals to 0 in the first quarter. Blew the game out of the water. And gee, I was hoping Miller was going to convert there, Judd. I would have brought out, it's Miller time. But alas, it is not. It is Broadview's time this afternoon.
Yeah, and that sums up their goal kicking. He was about 25 metres out, not much of an angle, and he missed it. I guess their confidence gone at this stage with the scoreboard and everything. But like you said, practice good habits. He should have went back and kicked that one, to be honest.
Bit of complacency, just laid back on that kick, coming out of defence. Making a mistake, Ralph. Cheeseman Dutton, haven't seen much of him, another Hyphen. He puts the hands up, we don't want to blame but yourself, young man, because that kick went over the back, and over the back today there's been about 4 or 5 Broadview players who, if I look closely enough, Judd, I reckon they've pitched tents out there.
Yeah, running on fumes, I think, a bit more to do mentally than anything. Just walking around the field now, just waiting for the siren. Unfortunately for them, not a good day at the office.
22 minutes go on in this fourth quarter. Stay tuned. Immediately after the final sign, we'll wrap up. We'll look ahead to next week. We'll take in a couple other scores from the other Division 1 games if we can source them. And of course award those beautiful Archie's Arch Support thongs and the Dartfish beanie to our player of the game. Got a few nominations up my sleeve. We'll see if we can agree on one and decide on that. And then of course a 2-1 for the afternoon. Coming out of half back, O'Leary, the captain. Broadbent. Fans restless. Calling for fast ball movement. Warner! Flew above the clouds and picked that one like a cherry off a tree.
Couple big marks in this quarter for Warner. That's his second one in a big contested pack. Missed the other one. I noticed his run-up was a little bit left and right a bit with his run-up, so he was hoping to kick a bit straight this time.
Aaron Warner, there's question marks over his namesake in the Australian Test team. But with a goal there might be no question marks over his place in this Brighton team for next week. Kicks truly and adds a little bit more respectability into the scoreboard. They're fourth for the afternoon, but alas, Broadview have 14 of their own. 14-7, 91. Brighton 4-12, 36 on the Sportal scoreboard. It's a lead of 55 points. Jad Gosson.
Yeah, these last 5 minutes has been in their half for most of the game. They've been trying hard, locking it in there, and missing a few they probably should have taken, but found a goal on that occasion. About 2.5 minutes left in this match.
In the middle, McKinnon Collins elects to soccer. He'll be well placed at the Championship playoff games happening a little bit later on this evening in England. Oh, he's running down! He backed himself in those blue boots, but late fourth quarter, I think those blue boots have run out of energy. And he was taken down. Rhodes. Samuel Rhodes. Life is a highway for Broadview this afternoon. They've got on cruise control, Judd.
Yeah, good scenes. It's good to see Jay O'Leary, the captain, running over and congratulating him for that big tackle. Even with this late in this game, with the game wrapped up, those 1%ers, big tackle on the wing, being congratulated by your captain, always good to see.
They've been scared to move the ball quickly because they know if they do, Broadview have been well set up behind the ball as it is. Two players playing off their men here. Brighton all day have been sucked up to that contest, but when you've got an extra two at the contest, if you're able to get it forward, I mean, it shouldn't be much of an issue. But once again, it pops out the back, and that's the risk you take, isn't it, Judd? If you have a couple of extra at the face of the contest, if you turn it over and they run it quickly forward, you're going to get exposed. And this is Cooper O'Leary.
Yeah, a few players free there. He could have picked one, picked O'Leary, went a bit sideways to him. He's already got 3, Cooper O'Leary, off the wing. So adding a 4 from a winger is very impressive. A very impressive game.
O'Leary for his 4th on the afternoon. Not quite. There's a hush around Brighton Community Oval. I think it's been settled from quarter time this match, unfortunately. Jad, we came here, at least I came here today, really expecting a tight tussle. Remember, my buddy bet was every quarter margin to be under 2 goals, and we've seen anything but. It's been Broadview first to the footy. The inclusion of Xavier Gotch has been an inspired one. They've won it around the ball with Little and O'Leary. That midfield trio and the ruckman McKinnon Collins has been great. Cho and Yang as well. Their midfield has just killed Brighton's attack on the footy. Illingworth's tried. Carthy's been confident. Lachlan John Cox been tricky, and some brilliant marks inside 50 from Warner, but it's been winning the ball at the source, and it's been good night from there, hasn't it, Judd? They've just been so impressive.
Yeah, that's right. Coming here today, I expected a bit of a closer tussle like you, to be honest, because they had one more win on the board on going into this game on the ladder, so could call it an upset, but going off form and who they've versed, we expected a close game, and it's been anything but today.
Final moments, closing stages, Saturday afternoon football. He's having himself a quarter here, Warner. He'd be best on ground if we were awarding Archies for a fourth quarter performance. As it is, we are not, and alas, Brighton are put out of their misery because it was a miserable afternoon here at Brighton Oval. Broadview have come with a plan, they've come with some strong hands, and the midfielders got it done. The structure was correct, the game plan was accurate. And Brent Backwell and Brighton had no answers.
Yeah, that's right. Really nothing they could do from quarter time onwards. They just better efficiency, cleaner around the ground, taking massive marks when it mattered, and more accurate on the goal scoring side of things. So all round today's game's been a little bit one-sided, and but the Broadview go home happy. A good away performance by them.
That's exactly it. A look ahead now to next week for both these sides. We ran over it quickly in the call, but the Bombers have Port District away. That should be a tough encounter as Port look to get their season back on track, the reigning premiers. And Broadview, they'd be pretty happy. They host Tea Tree Gully next week, which should be an exciting match.
Yeah, I was at Tea Tree Gully a few weeks ago. They were lost that game, but still have very strong players around the ground. So,
indeed. Looking to bring you some scores from other outlets and other games in Division 1. We have Sacred Heart Old Collegians 20 goals 9, 129. A comprehensive 100-point margin late in the fourth quarter. Old Nations 4 goals 5, 29. Unable to bring you other scores from Glenunga and St. Peter's and Tea Tree Gully and Goody at this stage, but Port District have got their season back on track. A really tough matches. They headed to Prince Alfred, who are perhaps premiership favourites, and Port Districts have said, look, we won this division last season. We aren't done. They've recorded, or they're up, I should say, by 32 points late in the fourth quarter. 11-8 Port District to Prince Alfred 6-6. So a real statement of intent from Port there, Judd. Yeah,
and if you're wanting to see the end of that game, go on Filming Footy. It's all on there on the live streamed, and those two are versing Brighton in a few weeks, so it'll be an interesting and tough encounter in that game, I reckon.
Indeed is, and a bit of a note, if you're a Broadview fan, they've got their Ladies' Day at home next week, so if you want to support the club, of course, get around them next Saturday at home to Tea Tree Gully. All right, it's that time you've all been waiting for. Moving on to our Archies players of the game, and we're going to run through a few different names. I'll cover Brighton, and I think I'll give Judd the easier job of covering the Broadview team. Otis Carthy was fantastic for Brighton, held his head up well as captain, didn't take his foot off the pedal. O'Loughlin Johncock was great. Aaron Warner, what a fourth quarter from him, kicked a goal in that quarter, but quiet games from their stars. Illingworth wasn't quite in it today. Wheatra, Jack Plenty got yellow carded and didn't quite do much apart from that. But no players near the top three of the game for the Bombers, but I think there'll be a few to discuss for Broadview.
Yeah, so for Broadview there was plenty of good performers all around, good team effort, but the ones that stood out for me, Russell with his 5 goals, can't really go past that. O'Leary kicking 3, so that's Cooper O'Leary kicking 3 off the wing, and also Little in the midfield really pushed them forward and was strong all game to give them first use, as well as Fergus I liked, especially early when the game was still in the contest. He was very good there, and Cho An Yang, a bit of a different role for him, I think. He didn't really do too much ruck work, but around the ground in the forward line impacted the play and helped him get a very big victory take.
Indeed, and Judd and I have discussed, and it might be a controversial decision seeing as Russell kicked himself 5 goals, but for the more complete performance we've awarded the Archie Thongs and best on ground today to a player for Broadview, and I'll keep you waiting no longer. Jack Fergus is our best on ground, so we're going to head down to have a chat with Jack and present him with the Archie Thongs and the Dartfish beanie, and hopefully he's happy to accept that. I'm sure he will, having been named best on ground. That's just about it from Brighton Oval this Saturday afternoon. Look, I hope you've enjoyed our coverage, Judd. It's been an absolute pleasure to be alongside you. Any final thoughts?
No, thanks for watching, everyone, and yeah, pleasure commentating with you today, Jack.
Keep an eye out during the week on the Adelaide Football League Facebook pages, the Thirsty Camel Goal of the Week nominations and the Bianco Mark of the Week nominations. And of course, thanks to Archie's, thanks to Dartfish for our stats, and the player of the game beanie going the way of Jack Fergus. Sporto, our scoreboard sponsors. Our cameraman, we've had a bit of an issue setting up the presentation for you this afternoon, but I think it's come across loud and clear, and I hope you've enjoyed all the coverage. Again, the Adelaide Footy League, Division 1 footy, every game broadcast live and exclusive on the Filming Footy YouTube page every week in season 2023. On behalf of my fellow commentator Jad Gosnell, I'm Jack Moore signing off. We'll see you next week for more Division 1 footy.